let me write the information first. So we have 2 points. Let me change the color of this. We have 2 points, each 10, 6, 12. And we need to write an equation for this line. So these 2 points, there's a line that goes through them. We basically want to write an equation of this line. The equation is something like this: y mx plus b. That's an equation for the line, or the general standard form in slope intercept form, or it could also be in standard form. For example, ax plus by equals c. So this is what we call slope intercept form. And the other one is what we call the standard. Either one is fine. The equation can be in either form. It's the same thing, just different formats. So this is what we call the standard form. Okay, so we're going to start from these 2 points, and we're going to write an equation in either one of these formats here. So write an equation and in both actually. So the equation requires both. Know that I read the equation. So write an equation of the line passing through the given pair of points. Okay, we have a pair of points, one here and the other. Give the final answer in slope intercept form, and B, standard form, which is basically this. All right, so whenever you want to complete an equation, you need 2 things for a line. You need an M and a B. We need the slope, right? And you need the B, which we call the intercept, or the Y intercept. If you have those 2, it's simple. Just plug them here, and the equation is done. And you can transform this into standard form simply by moving the term with the x to the other side. So basically, the slope intercept form has the y by itself on one side, and the other side has the rest of the equation. Whereas the standard form, x and y both are on one side of the equation, and the other side has the number or the constant that's by itself. For example, here, c. If you have one, you can get to the other. So let's first find the m. So each equation must have a y-intercept and slope. So let's find the slope. How do you find the slope? There's a formula for finding the slope. What is it? The slope form. Do you remember that?
No.
The slope form is, the slope formula is m equaled something minus something over something minus something. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember what was at the top?
Y.
That's right. Y minus.
Y.
Exactly. And the bottom?
X.
Very good. So if we have 2 points, we can use those 2 points to basically find the slope. Once we find the slope, we'll see how to complete the equation or how to find the y. So this will be, all these values come from here, from these points here. We have 2 points. Let's label them actually. So the first one, you can call it x1, y1. Second one, let's call it x2, y2. So these are the values that we're going to plug into this and simplify. All right, what is y2 from the pairs? Y2 is 12. Take away 10. Speak up a little bit. I think you're far away from the mic. What is x2?
6.
6. That's right. Much better now. Your voice is much better. And then x1, which is
8.
8. That's it. That's our slope. Just need to simplify this a little bit. 2 over 2, which is 2 over 2 basically is 1, right?
Mhm.
So that's the first important thing to complete the the equation of the line. Now we need to, we don't have b unfortunately. There's two ways we can find b. We can use m, which we have, and use x and y from one of these points. X and y from one of these points and find b. Or there's a second way, we can reuse the same equation here and complete the equation of the line. Here's how you do that. We're going to use what we call the slope point formula. Slope point let me try that again. Formula. This is nothing but this equation written in a different form. We're just basically going to cross multiply it, and we're going to end up with what we call slope point formula, and I'll show you why it's called so. So we're going to take this, we're going to cross multiply, and by the way, you can put this over 1 to make this a fraction, m over 1. What's the first cross multiplication here? So basically 1 times this side. 1 times anything is itself, so it's going to be y2 minus 1. Okay, and then multiply the other way, this time m times these two, which must be in parentheses. Okay, this is what we call, again, slope point formula. The reason why we call it so, because it requires slope, okay, which we have, which also have here, we found it earlier, and it requires a point, okay, which is good. We not only have a point, but we actually have two of them. We can use either one, but let's use maybe this one here, the first one. And so we need x1 and y1, and those will go here. So those will go into x1 and y1. And these we don't substitute, the x2 and y2, we want those to stay. Later, we're going to turn them into just y and just x without the 2. Okay, because each equation has x and y, sometimes x by itself, sometimes y by itself. We don't have to call it y2, x2 after we substitute y1 and x1, which might be confused with the other ones. Okay, so that point we're going to use is, let's write it down over here. That's 8 and 10. And again, this is x1, y1. And so the x1, of course, going to go here into this, and the y1 will go into the y1. That's it. Once we substitute those, again, the y2 and x2 will stay. We just need to rearrange the terms a little bit around the equal sign to either write the equation in this form or in that form. So let's see how to do that. So far, so good. All right. Okay, so far I'm just writing the formulas. Let's start actually plugging things in. So point slope formula. Again, the y2, just call it y for now. What is y1 again? That's right. Then the equal sign, what's m or the slope?
1.
That's right, we found it. 1 parentheses. And do we need to substitute x2?
No.
No, we want that for the equation. We're just going to call it x for now, minus x1, which is?
8.
Exactly, x1 is 8, or as we labeled it here earlier, 8. That's almost done. So, first, let's make it look like this. So here, in order for this to be in standard, I mean in mx form or slope-intercept form, the y has to be by itself. So basically, we're going to try to isolate the y or solve for y. So what do you think we do? What do we need to do here in order to get the y by itself? Okay, we can do a couple of things. What do you think what's the first thing we need to do?
I was gonna say divide, but I don't think we divide yet.
What do you want to divide? Or so think we want to get the y by itself. So how do you get the y by itself on this side?
You add it to the other side. No.
What do you add? What do you add to both sides? So we want to isolate this. Which number needs to be cancelled? If you want to get the y by itself, like here, we want to cancel the negative 10. This is what needs to be cancelled. But before we cancel this, we're going to distribute this first. That way, after we cancel the 10, it will be a positive 10 on this side. So let's distribute this. So it will be y minus 10, 1x or x, and minus 8. Then cancel this simply by adding 10 to both sides. Add the number to the number, and you end up with y, x, and negative 8 plus 10. That's, what's negative 8 plus 10?
2.
2. That's right, positive 2. Now that looks in this form, as you can see. So this is in this form. What's the slope again here from the equation?
1.
1, that's right, there's an invisible 1. So the slope we found earlier is over here. And what do we call positive 2? From here, the b is the y-intercept, right? So finally, that's the equation we're looking for, and that's in this form. So first part of the question is done. So that's part A of the question. Now, part B, we need to write the equation in what form?
Standard.
Which one?
Standard.
Standard, that's right. That's the slope, that's standard. We need to do one action here to this form to make it standard form. What is it?
I don't know.
So basically we want to have both x and y on this side. Okay, so what do we need to do to this equation in order to have both x and y on this side? One quick action is to cancel out the 1x from this side so it moves to the other side. How do you cancel this 1x from here? Just one step. What is it?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm asking.
So this is slope-intercept. This one is standard. Standard form. Okay, again, this is the y-intercept form. The standard form, the difference between these two, the slope-intercept has the y by itself on one side, which we did. The standard form, both x and y must be on one side. So we're going to have to move this over and change its sign, or you can do minus 1x on the other side. So it will be y. Going to move the 1x to the other side, it turns into negative 1x. To the other side, the equal sign, and then the equal sign, and positive 2 stays on this side. You could say positive 2 or simply 2. Okay, so this is the same as 1x and 2. Okay, so that's the equation in standard form. So this is this one here. Okay, you got that?